All still getting there. I can see 1, 2. The G trying to put her around as well. She's putting down better. Think about
G'day punters, welcome back to the MacBet Early Move. MacBet is the #1 resource for information to help you win on the punt in Queensland. Joining me is pro punter John McLeod. After backing a decent winner yesterday, he knows. Geez, it was a bit of a pucker.
Yeah, it was it was a bit strange even getting back that far, but he did, he came out of the gates half wanting to go forward, and then all of a sudden a lot of horses kicked up on the inside of him. That was the problem. Even I noticed it, going with 10 minutes to go before the betting, I kept on looking at all these horses drawn inside of him, and they all had half decent speed. So it was a matter of any of those, dropped off, well, then he was going to slot in, but none of them dropped off. So he made the decision to go back, and he took a few chances in the straight, which, those sort of jockeys, you want them to do that, because if he had to come right around him, he probably still wins. But, there's a chance that they're working out wide and they just may not have, got there, the horse. So, I think the rule is if they're not going that fast in front, look for runs. And if they're going fast, come to the outside. And I'm not sure whether they were going that fast. So I probably would have done the same as what Bailey, did, and just started looking for runs. Now, he could have run into trouble, which he half did.
He did.
But the horse was too good for him.
Yeah, he really dropped anchor, and luckily it responded and nudged its way through a hole there. And we tipped it out at $3.60 yesterday. I had a few units on. I think you had a half unit from the yard. And I saw you talking on Twitter. You said you hadn't backed it yet. It jumps 230. What price did you get? I've been waiting to ask.
310. 310. I sort of, it was okay. It was sort of like a matter of, when you did bet. I was really worried about the rain. That's what I was worried about. The storms were coming and all that sort of stuff. That's what they were talking about. And, you just never know whether there's going to be scratchings at the time, halfway through the meeting or whatever. And
yeah,
so it just was one of those. I don't like betting too much early in the morning anyway. If I do bet, it's mostly half my bet. I put half on what I want to put on, and then top up, whenever you can see everything that's fine, and you punch in then. And I couldn't see any reason to jump in too hard early just because of what the weather was going to do or could have done.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we did have the 3 units early on the tip sheet and platinum, which was really good. Turned a good result there. And then, butted up again from the yard. So just updates to the yard recently. We've just been doing that as additional units from the morning, and has been working pretty well since started recording results a few weeks ago now. The yard's winning at about 20. These results, are Monday, so we're probably a little bit further in front than this, but we've picked up a good 12 units in the yard, about 25%, still up around 11-12% for the year. The worm's sort of just gone up, and then it's sort of just hovering a little bit. But I was talking to Tom the other day. You're sort of saying not a great quality of horses around at the moment. We'll probably look to sink the boot in a little bit more towards the back end of the year.
Well, you get this time of year, you've got to take short odds, and what it does prove is that if you find one and then one gets beaten, and then you find another one and it gets beat, you're sort of hovering. And what it's sort of saying is that you can't back too many shorties, because you've got to be right too many times. Whereas the other ones you can miss a few times. But at this time of year, there's only probably 2 or 3 chances in each race, and you've got to be right. You can't make any mistakes. You can't make mistakes with your map, especially, because it just makes so much of a difference, to our prices anyway, sort of thing. So, and then you've got bias in the tracks, and you've got the weather, and you've got the whole kit and caboodle, and you're trying to take anywhere from evens to 7 or 4 things, and so you've got to be really right at this time of year. So,
and the jockeys, you got to read the jockey's mind as well. That's the other part of it.
Yeah, it's sort of, and you've got to be right on the way you've done the form as well. So it's it's not easy. That's for sure.
I've said it a few times. I don't envy what you do at all. Happy to run the social media and the website, and all the customers. I'm very happy to do that. You're just finding winners, but there is a massive weekend of racing ahead of us. We got the Caulfield Cup down south, the Everest. I know you were on the Brisbane Racing Club Twitter on Wednesday chatting about the Everest. Your mate owns Eduardo.
Yeah, Nathan grabbed me fairly early, sort of thing. I was just getting ready and getting set up, sort of thing. He said he wanted to have a chat about the 2 races, and as you know, I don't really look at Sydney and Melbourne too
No.
much, but those two, I've got a bit of an interest in a mate of mine's horse, Eduardo, just because Gino owns it, and the other one, the Incentivise is just a horse that we know, and he's just a really nice horse, Incentivise. But the thing what I was saying to Nathan is that if they do start trucking around about 1,000 out and really trying to put pressure on and everything, they haven't got a lot left at the finish. Those horses up on the speed, and horses just getting a nice suck run behind them. They just got to sprint to 200 meters, when they get over the top of those horses. So it's going to be an interesting race and what they do and how far out they do start to sprint.
Very interesting to see. And I saw some stat that's the shortest price Caulfield Cup favourite in a while. It may be ever, it may be 50 years. I forget what the stat was, but it's a long time, and nice to see you taking it on in the Twitter sphere there straight out, which would be good. We'll watch that. But you've had a bit of luck in the past tipping things down south. You pushed people into Val and Declare, winning the Melbourne Cup after its Queensland campaign. So we'll see Macbeth Victoria.
There's nothing, I really believe that, the horses that really go well in the Winter Carnival here, that really take another step, they go back to Sydney and Melbourne, and they've been in a winter that's not as cold down as down there, and they thrive. And it's just been that way ever since day dot. And I'm not saying that the overall Brisbane horses can go down there and compete with the Southerners, but the nice horses that have made those leaps and bounds, they compete. That's for sure. They're right there, and you can pick and choose them all the time. There's the Colt that I think he only had one start. He won a few races up here. I think he might have won the Derby or the Guineas or something up here, and Waterhouse, and he went down and he had one run down there, I think, and he had a few problems, and they put him out. Like, he's a lovely horse. He's not much to look at, but geez, he's got to turn a foot, and next time in he'll come back a better horse, because he's only had the one run or something, and they tipped him out because they did the right thing by him. So just can't remember the horse, but he's those types of horses. Incentivise is another one. That you can't do much more than what he was doing. He's winning by anywhere from 7 to 10 lengths or 12 lengths and running good sectional. So it wasn't as if he was just flogging bad horses. He was flogging bad horses, but he was doing it in style because of the sectionals and what they were proving he was running. Now, the sectionals are going against the average of what that class does, and if they're doing 7 to 10 lengths above the average,
what more can you ask? Yeah, for sure. Will be very exciting. And yes, up here, our key focus is up here in Queensland. As always, we've got Doomben and the Gold Coast. But before we get into that, we'll keep talking improvers. We posted your top 5 on Twitter. Jacob called me out. I had 3 in the comment there, not 5. Thanks, Lurzy, always keeping me honest, which is really good. But yeah, your third best improver from last Saturday. She's a boss. Ran 3rd in race 9 at Eagle Farm. You like that run?
Yeah, she come from back in the field. It's a horse that has got a really good turn of foot. So got to stay at the 1200. Can't go to 1400. If they go to 1350 or 1400, you just want to bet against it, because every Tom, Dick and Harry is going to see the run and going to say, okay, she went really good. I want to be on it, but it doesn't get 1350, 1400 real strong. So stay at the 1200. That's why it went good the other day. It was a slow run race, and it reeled off her normal sectionals that were really good. Now, if she stays at 1200 and finds a race that she can sit midfield, she'll ping again and she'll win. So it's just a matter of what he does with that horse now.
She's a boss. Chuck it in the black book and watch out for another 1200 metre race then. Golden Artie ran 2nd in race 2 at Eagle Farm on the weekend. Good improvement coming now.
Yeah, we tipped the winner of that race. We just thought the thing of O'Day's would lead and win, and he was able to do it. But the Golden Artie does a lot of things wrong, and he's a lovely type in the yard. He's big. We've got a lot of scope about him, and he's going to come back a better horse. I think he said in the, I think Brian Guy said that he's tipped him out straight away. So he's going to come back a better horse, and especially with the experience under his belt, because he did a lot of things wrong. He wanted to hang out in the straight. Now that might be whether he was feeling something or he was doing a few things, just mentally wasn't there. Now in the trial he did a similar type of thing. So I think next time in he's going to be there for sure and certain. I think they might be heading towards the Magic Millions.
Another one to watch there. And yeah, your top improver from last weekend was Stella Magic, ran second in race 4 at Eagle Farm.
Yeah, I think Bailey was on that. I don't think he did anything wrong. A lot of people were against him, saying that he should have taken off or whatever it is. I think he was back there. He was on a horse that was first up from a spell, and if he peeled out and had to go around them when they weren't going fast, it would have made him work. They would have pulled out, but in front of him as well. And then next minute he was wider and wider and working hard. So he just had to wait and try to see if something tracked him into the race, and nothing did. And he waited and come out, and then he chased really hard. The horses went really good. Went like a bomb really, because I think he's going to definitely improve in the yard. The horse was a little bit soft, if anything, and there's 2 or 3 lengths left in the horse for sure.
All right, we'll shift our focus to this Saturday. We're racing at Eagle Farm. There's been a little bit of rain around. Track's currently a soft 6, and the rail 3.5 metre position. How are you going to play this one, John?
Just coming down the middle of the track. That's what usually happens when there's rain around and everything, and especially if the rain just keeps coming or keeps the track at this type of level. If it starts drying out, it might be a little bit different, but at the moment, happy to be, pretty much, pace related, a lot of it. And there's a few other things that, we look at. I can't say too much, but it's just a good track. For me, it's a good track to bet on. It's
for sure. I know it's been a favourite of yours for a while, ever since it came back. And guys, if you want to hear those little secrets, get yourself into the WhatsApp group. You'll be able to pick up a few little nuggets of knowledge there. So that's a weekly or a monthly subscription gets you in there, and you'll be in there on Saturday in the yard. I think I'm going to come along. Might do a couple of videos from the yard, chuck on Twitter. So drum up a bit of interest. So hopefully the rain stays away.
Yeah, I think it's going away on Saturday, so hopefully it'll be pretty fine.
For sure. And as far as our early move preview goes, we're going to look at race 8, 1400 metre race. Pretty open affair here. Rhapsody Rose is $4. Pentito, $4.80. On the next line of betting is Manazi, $5.50. The QS and It's All Talk are $6.50. Crack of Doom, $8.50. Big Muskie is $9.50. Merseyside 13s, and Sutto's Gal is the outsider at $41. I'm going to run through your top 4 picks. I've got the sheet open here in front of me. We'll start with the 6, Pentito. That's 4th pick.
Pentito didn't go too bad the other day at Doomben when he won. He did have all favours, though. The horse that runs second ran about. We were on him. The second one, I think it was about $2.20 into $1.40, I think, the other day. And it was just that, the second horse was a very green horse. This one just did, he did nothing wrong. He put himself in a position. He's going to do the same thing here. I don't think he can compete with these other ones, especially at the price he is there at the moment, $4.80. That seems very, rock bottom to me. But he's one of the little hopes that have been in the race that, something's got to be 4th pick, and they come up with him.
For sure. All right. Well, something with a better chance might be the 3, the QS at $6. Allman on board. He's flying at the moment, isn't he?
He is. He rides good, James. You just don't want him, on days there's bias. He struggles with the bias. I think I've said this a few times. He seems to go in places where you'd rather him not. But I think it might be confidence, and he's got a bit of confidence about him at the moment. He's riding good. He's no doubt he's a good jockey. So this horse, he's going to the 1400, which on looks you would say bit of a doubt. On breed, you'd say okay. And I'm he's a horse that I think's got a chance, but he's a horse that I'm quite happy to be third pick and a beatable third pick.
Okay.
So he's another one that's around the $6 mark that, we've got him about that or just above, and
Yep.
he's third pick, but he's one that I can see flaws in him as well. So there's another one I want to bet against.
Pick 2 off there, and the second pick is the favourite in the race, Rhapsody Rose, $4 tab. I think it's about $3.70 elsewhere, but yeah, Rhapsody Rose in for second.
Yeah, we've got him touch shorter than that, but I haven't knocked him around for the distance, and there is a little question mark on the distance with him as well, and that's the reason why my first pick is, I'm leaning towards, Manasseh, but Rhapsody Rose is definitely there. He's got a little bit of quality about him, but the distance is a dead set worry. So you can see my second, third, and fourth picks, and even the ones that are fifth, sixth, and seventh, they've all got problems or little worries.
Yeah.
And something's got to run, second, third, and fourth, and whatever. And these horses are my next best picks, and but they're beatable. They're definitely beatable. Now, Rhapsody Rose, if it gets the distance, he's definitely there, but he's got 28 days off. He had a trial, I think, the other day, and he's going to this distance, 1,400 on a wet track. So it is a worry. It is a worry.
Okay, and yeah, top pick, Manasseh, $6, Taylor Marshall in the seat. A little bit of value there if you've got potential issues with all the others.
Well, yeah, what I like about this horse is he's going to the 1,400, which seems like it's perfect. He's on the way up. I think the other day in the yard, he definitely improved out of the yard. He's been a bit of a big bull, and like we backed him at Caloundra, I think it was second up. And he still looked new in the yard that day, but he beat him fairly easy. But he beat a maiden field that weren't much good. But he's made little progressions in the yard. He keeps on improving, and I think the 1,400 suits him. He's got Taylor Marshall on it, who's a jockey who wants to go forward, and that's a positive with this horse going to 1,400 because he's been getting back a bit too far because of the gates and everything. Whereas I think if Marshall's a little bit more positive out of the gates, he might be able to finish up about fifth too wide, and he's going to be strong at the 1,400, and I think he's got a good chance.
Fantastic. And as far as early move sort of betting goes, you're thinking worth a little play now, or you might wait and see how things are playing on Saturday?
I think it was $6 a couple of hours ago or an hour ago. What is he now? I think he's $6.
$5.50 tab, yeah.
Yeah, well, again, you pretty much the way that I look at races to bet in is one, find a favourite that I'll bet against, and then start finding the ones that I want to back, and then trying to work out, okay, would the public want to be on these with the jockey they've got and all that sort of stuff. Now, the favourite here, I can't find. The favourite is ruled out because he's not a horse that I can say that he can't win. So It's not that scenario, but then you've got to look at what will they back? Rhapsody Rose, distance problem. Crack of Doom, he's stepping up in class. QS has got a distance problem. It's All Talk got up on the fence the other day and just had a lot of luck there. Big Muskie's coming out of the maiden. Pentito won a maiden. He had a very possible. Merseyside was disappointing on a wet track down the coast, and Sutto's gal can't win. So there you go. You sort of start seeing, well, what can they? Is there a flaw in Manasseh? I don't think so. The only thing that they may think if they think that they're going to go back on Manasseh and give them start, well, then the market goes against those horses. But I'm sort of the opinion he might be able to go forward a little bit, Marshall. And if they're thinking the same thing, well, he's a horse that they can come up with.
For sure. All right. Well, one to watch there this weekend, guys, Manasseh. And if you want to get the information from us, head to macbet.com.au. We'll have the full team betting at the Gold Coast and at Eagle Farm.
Yep. Tom and I will be at Eagle Farm, and Brody and Brad will be down the Gold Coast to sort of pretty much share the meeting sort of thing, so we don't have to, it's pretty hard to do 10 races all in one, a couple of days work. So 5 is good, and then you can back up into the next day a bit fresher. So that's how we're doing it. It's I think it's great. It's takes a bit of pressure off me. I know that.
Yeah, it's good, and quality over quantity, of course. So if you've got a bit more time to do races and you're not rushing through things, I'd say you probably see some better results.
Or you can go over them, go over it a lot more, sort of thing. And then, what we all do is, pretty much ask each other, have a look at this. What do you think? What do you think he'll do out of the gates? Will he go forward or go back? Because I think he'll go forward. And then someone might say, oh, I think he might go back. And that'll make a big difference. And for the opposite, he might go forward. And next minute, he's the one to be on. And if someone can see something that is a negative with a horse, well, if you think there's two chances and someone's sort of thrown something up to say there's a bit of a negative with the distance or whatever, I don't think he'll do what you're thinking. If you think about it and say, yeah, well, he's probably right, well, then it pushes you in the other way onto something else and he becomes a better bet. So it's always good to not think that you know everything.
That's just a life lesson on everything, I'd say. Fresh eyes is always great, and a second opinion can really help.
Yeah, no doubt. It's, you can have the experience, but you can still miss things, and you just got to try to put everything together the best you can, but you do miss things, and it's just a matter of talking through things. It's something that we've been talking about even just before we come on air about doing something after the races, and everyone talking about the meeting and what actually happened. That's something that we might look going forward and trying to. A lot of people will see what each of us are actually thinking and what actually happened and what we thought might have happened, and it's not to say that a whole lot of us are the same. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, very, very good. And guys, if you want to follow this weekend, of course, yes, head to macbet.com.au, but we will be posting out some free videos from the yard at Eagle Farm. I'll be there with the camera, get some video content out of you, John, and hopefully we can back a few winners. So guys, head to @MacBetTips on Twitter and turn post notifications on so you don't miss anything, because we're really getting them out there 3 minutes before the jump. You don't want to miss out. Definitely not.
Yep, sounds good.
For sure. All right, John, thanks for that. We'll see you Saturday.
How was the fishing? Fishing?
Oh, great. Very good.
Who was the king fisherman?
Oh, I can't say me, can I? So, I feel like I can't.
You got the goal.
We actually saw the blokes fishing off the rocks. I sat there for about half an hour watching them just peel in fish, and I thought, bugger it, I'm going to have a go at this. And I sort of caught 6 or 7 myself and a couple of decent size. So yeah, we hit the gold mine there. But yes, sunburnt feet. I got a bit excited and stood out there for too long. Too good.
Very good.
All right, John. See you Saturday.